Have you ever found yourself in that all-too-familiar spot? Staring at a to-do list that seems to mock you, feeling that nagging guilt, and maybe even calling yourself a lazy. It's a word we use often, a label we stick on ourselves and others when there's a lack of action. But what if laziness isn't what we think it is? What if it's a profound signal from our deepest selves, urging us to look beneath the surface? Today, we're going on a journey into the hidden truths of inaction. Guided by one of the most influential and enigmatic figures in psychology, Carl Gustav Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, didn't use the word laziness in the conventional sense. Instead, he saw what we call laziness as often a symptom, a manifestation of deeper psychological processes, particularly related to something he called neurosis. Now, before you dismiss this as "Tono, I'm not neurotic," it's crucial to understand what Jung meant by neurosis. For Jung, neurosis wasn't just about anxiety attacks or phobias, though those can certainly be part of it. He saw neurosis as a psychic disturbance arising from a person's evasion of life's essential tasks and challenges. It's a conflict within the psyche where a necessary step towards growth is being avoided. Imagine life constantly presenting us with challenges, leaving home, pursuing an education, starting a career, building a relationship, dealing with loss, or confronting personal fears. Jung believed these are not just external hurdles, but fundamental calls to independence and psychological maturation. If an individual does not heed this call, if they avoid confronting these problems due to what Jung termed childish laziness or timidity, then neurosis can set in. He put it quite starkly: life calls us forth to independence, and anyone who does not heed this call because of childish laziness or timidity is threatened with neurosis. And once this is broken out, it becomes an increasingly valid reason for running away from life and remaining forever in the morally poisonous atmosphere of infancy. That phrase, morally poisonous atmosphere of infancy, might sound harsh, but Jung wasn't judging, he was describing a psychological reality. When we consistently evade necessary challenges, we prevent ourselves from developing the resilience and inner strength required for a full, autonomous life. We get stuck in patterns that, while perhaps comfortable in the short term, ultimately lead to a profound sense of stagnation and malaise. This stagnation, this lack of forward momentum, can absolutely look and feel like laziness. So, if you're feeling perpetually lazy, Jung would invite you to ask, what challenge am I evading? What step towards independence am I reluctant to take? What necessary suffering am I trying to avoid? Because, for Jung, neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. Think about it. Growth isn't always easy. Stepping out of your comfort zone, learning new skills, confronting difficult emotions, these involve effort, uncertainty, and sometimes pain. But this is the legitimate suffering of life, the kind that leads to strength and wisdom. When we refuse to engage with it, our psyche finds other ways to express the imbalance, often through symptoms that manifest as a lack of energy, procrastination, or a general inability to act, what we label as laziness. This isn't about blaming the individual. Jung understood the powerful unconscious forces at play. One of the most significant concepts here is the shadow. The shadow, in Jungian psychology, is the unconscious aspect of our personality that the conscious ego does not identify with. It's everything we've repressed or denied about ourselves, often because society, our family, or our own ego deem these traits unacceptable. This can include negative traits like anger or selfishness, but it can also include positive creative impulses or even a profound need for rest that our hustle culture denies. If your shadow contains a powerful need for, say, genuine rest and recuperation, but your conscious mind tells you that you must be productive 24/7, then that repressed need for rest can sabotage your conscious efforts. Your body and mind might simply shut down, manifesting as laziness, because the deeper unconscious need is being ignored. Or perhaps your shadow holds unacknowledged fears, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection. These fears, pushed into the unconscious, can paralyze you, making it impossible to initiate action, again appearing as laziness. Jung believed that understanding and integrating the shadow is crucial for psychological wholeness, a process he called individuation. When we refuse to acknowledge these hidden aspects, they don't simply disappear. They operate from the unconscious, often thwarting our most well-meant intentions. That feeling of inner resistance, of being inexplicably stuck, could be your shadow at work. So, how does this help us with our perceived laziness? Jung's perspective shifts the focus from moral judgment to psychological inquiry. Instead of beating ourselves up for being lazy, we are invited to become detectives of our own psyche. When you feel that inertia, ask yourself, What am I truly avoiding? Is it a specific task or something deeper about my life path? What fears or anxieties might be at play here? Am I afraid of failure or perhaps even success and the responsibilities it brings? Am I ignoring a deeper need? Could this laziness actually be a signal for rest, for a change in direction, or for a reevaluation of my values? Are there parts of myself, my shadow, that I'm not acknowledging? What impulses or truths am I repressing that might be manifesting as inaction? Jung's work also emphasized the concept of psychic energy, or libido. He saw libido not just as sexual energy, but as a general life force, the drive that propels us forward. When a person has less libido invested in reality, when their psychic energy is withdrawn from engagement with the world and its tasks, they may appear lethargic or withdrawn, again, exhibiting what we call laziness. This reduced adaptation to reality can be a symptom of a deeper psychological issue, a kind of stagnation of the soul. If our libido is constantly being pulled inwards, perhaps into fantasies, anxieties, or an avoidance of what's truly demanded of us, then there's less available energy for outward action. The task isn't to simply push through or be more disciplined in the face of this psychic drain. It's to understand why the energy is being withdrawn, what is holding it back. The ultimate aim in Jungian psychology is individuation, becoming the fullest, most integrated version of oneself. This process requires courage, self-reflection, and a willingness to face the parts of ourselves we'd rather keep hidden. When we confront these inner conflicts, when we integrate the shadow, and when we choose to engage with life's legitimate sufferings, our psychic energy becomes free to flow. The inertia dissipates, not because we've shamed ourselves into action, but because we've healed the underlying disturbance. So, the next time you feel that heavy cloak of laziness, pause. Don't immediately condemn yourself. Instead, take a page from Jung's wisdom. See it not as a moral failing, but as a potential messenger from your unconscious. Ask it questions. Listen to its signals. What part of you is trying to get your attention? What challenge is waiting to be faced? What deeper truth is trying to emerge? By approaching laziness with curiosity and compassion rather than judgment, we open the door to profound self-discovery and unlock the vital energy needed to truly live. It's a journey inward to move outward. If this exploration resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more insights into the human psyche, and let me know in the comments, what does laziness feel like to you? And what new questions might Jung's perspective inspire you to ask yourself? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.